JD Gaming, GK Esports, Gen G, and FORCE.36. You can read the names. Let's take a look at what's happening elsewhere, though. Teams trying to rotate their way in at the moment. One of them on your screen is going to be VKG.
Just checking to see if there's any areas that they can teleport through as well. That void passage, very useful to transition from point A to point B. It really was interesting when Alter came out. Everyone was jumping onto different maps trying to find out just where the void passage could get you. And also where you probably shouldn't be able to get as well.
There's an engagement here. JDG are going to be able to drag floating back. Gen G have lost 2. They should be able to just about reset on these stairs. It's E36 putting out a lot of the damage. They're going to be forced to get that gen down. So Gen G's gen is feeling safe. But this is a little bit of a risky spot to play. See, E36 want to try and push this. They know that Dexter is still down. And with Maggie in the lobby as well, you do not want to be in a staircase if someone throws a wrecking ball your way.
E36 trying to capitalize on the damage that was already done by JDG here as Gen G cannot catch a break. But I love this aggression from Asia. You have to force them back. You can't just sit there and take the damage.
Back over to VKG. This is happening just outside of Galleria. TIE are just behind them as well, as you can see on your screen. Split by that big divide, the big wall that kind of surrounds Galleria. 13 points on the board after 2 games for VKG. Not the worst of starts for them. A bow check in the hands of Casa here. Shows that they tried to move pretty quickly from the POI.
Need light ammo.
Gen G get peppered again, by the way. Look at the kill feed knocked from distance this time with the Sentinel. That staircase is a little bit shaky for them.
There's a few teams who are making very wide rotations. Ninjas in Pajamas being one of them on the eastern side at the moment. Expect them to be very late. You also might see Shopify Rebellion and PXX fight shortly, but finally Gen G will be taken from the stairs. And it is a combination of JDG and E36 in the end. They just didn't allow them to escape. It didn't matter if they went up or down. Someone had their exit.
Yeah, Gen G going to be looking back and saying, hey, if it's an ENAM zone again, I think we don't play the staircase early. It's a tough one. Maybe in scrims at work, but when everyone is in the zone, it becomes a little bit more awkward. E36 up on this high ground, by the way. They're going to be safe for so long. Such an advantageous position to have with these northern Electro Dam zones. And you can see exactly why. It's so difficult to challenge any team that's up on height. And I've just realized that Jisna has a 3 times on a charge rifle. So anyone who's going to be arriving late is going to be singed, he's going to be burnt. And more than likely going to be on their backs.
A few teams have actually gone further into zone here just to get a little bit more information and Evo. Shopify Rebellion being one of them. As VP on their journey through, they're actually starting to approach Galleria at the moment. Now TIE are waiting in Galleria. And VP at the moment just prioritizing leveling up some of their weapons and getting extra attachments. But I think they have now spotted TIE. They have to be careful because if they went north, they'd run into RRQ. South of them is Aurora though, so this is a tricky rotation for VP.
I feel like Galleria is a little bit of a honey trap at the moment for a lot of teams as well, considering that you've got a ring console and a survey beacon there. So as well as the fact that teams are going to be rotating to the north, you have those little sweet treats down to try and hit, to level up the Ugos to get the information. Over towards the zone, you can see KNC have found a corner to play. The baby comp's worked out for them here, slamming below a lot of the teams on the bridge, GK being one of them. No power booster on the Gibraltar, so that bubble's not going to be coming up as quick as it could. Also, only the blue armor, so 1 defensive bombardment to use.
It is bizarre how these pro teams are so happy to take corners like this and just be under constant stress. It is very difficult to hold those kind of spots. You have to rely on those abilities from your legends to make sure that you can always be having them ready, basically.
Yeah, I think it's a really good point you raise here. You know, some spots are very playable late game. Early game, not so much. That place that we just saw, very playable late game, but very difficult early game because there's so many teams looking at you, so many lines of sight. You've got to wait until they become lines of sight that don't exist later in that game. DK being aggressive, that was definitely just from height with the charge rifle. And Noct is going to be brought back to his feet here. You can see Keon is sticking that. JDG looking to clean up the final pieces here of KNT. It's a little bit of a portal dance, a portal pie. And Naughty wants to be invited.
I think this was my point initially with Kinatrope playing on this baby comp and the zone coming towards them is they are forced to really use the Newcastle and the Gibby. As that is a very interesting playing position, I will say, with the knees up.
That is a far more flexible man than I ever will be.
Flat also struggling. They're going to be eliminated.
Watch yourselves, pups.
Neo are able to get those kills in their favor, but are you going to be able to actually get the res? That's the real question.
Yeah, Kinatrope just been eliminated in the meantime, so the solo wasn't able to survive there. And like you say, it's one thing to survive, but Zipline Mafia are chasing them down.
Zipline, who are in 6th place at the moment after their impressive Game 1. Game 2 was a little bit more lackluster. But it would be quite something if they were able to get to the match point finals. Actually, both Zipline Mafia featuring here and TIE, when you talk about regional finals and the success stories to be able to find yourself here at EWC. And both teams who we know, when their backs are against the wall, they can find those moments.
Just going to focus in on Ninjas and Pajamas on the right side of the screen here. You can see that they've had a little bit of a more distance to travel to get to this zone. So they're just taking a little bit of a wider route here. They're going to play for the next console to find out where the zone is going to be pulling. Sometimes doing that just gives you a little bit of a heads up on the rest of the lobby to see what side of the zone is going to be best to fight for or play for. They could also, of course, hit the survey because they should be up to purples at least when they do get to fight. VP looking to do something similar here when it comes to ring console, just over at Vibe Isle. And Neo are still alive here. You can see they're just moving towards Energy Bank, the solo player who is still alive, but might be about to run into Relove DCG, who are going to be feeling all kinds of confident after the win of the last game.
It was quite funny seeing his arrow on the map just do a quick 180 as soon as he noticed DCG. As we can look back at just how unfortunate Kinatrope were with the teams that had eyes on them. Everything that was available to use was sent to make sure that Kinatrope could not stay alive. A difficult position to hold early on in the baby comp. Not really being of use so far in these early games, but perhaps later Kinatrope will be able to reap the benefits.
Yeah, it's one of those where there's just too many counters in the lobby for it. Seer being a big one, and you've just seen the perfect example of why it's difficult to run it in a Maggie-filled lobby, because you can just get drilled behind those shields, you can get Maggie-balled as well. It's just very difficult to survive and hunker down with the amount of offensive abilities that are still available in the compositions you're going up against. Aurora then. Let's take a look at them. Only 25 Evo here for Orain to get his full perks available. And having to play quite far away from where the zone is going to be pulling Electro down. Shopify Rebellion finding themselves in a fight here with DCG. They're playing for the Mythic Beam, which is spawning right next to them.
Yeah, DCG are not in a position to stop them getting this Mythic Bin either. For Shopify Rebellion, I mean, they want to do it for Koi4, I'm sure. It adds that extra little bit of willpower to you. For Phony, you're kind of playing with house money, right? You're playing for free, but at the same time, you want to be able to get it done. I guess it's not too much pressure, but it's a different kind of pressure, isn't it, that it's applied to you?
Yeah, 100%. I think that Shopify Rebellion fans will be recreating The Simpsons. Lisa Simpson do it for her with the pictures of Koi on it. Seeing if they can help from home. Well, Shopify Rebellion got a lot of pressure on their shoulders. One thing that Zainu is going to have to do is lead the troops. Having Phony, of course, an IGL himself alongside, he's going to be able to give some input. Look at where the zone is going. It looks like it's going towards GK Esports, right on the northwestern tip of where the zone is falling. 55 seconds on zone close. And Ninjas in Pajamas on your screen right now. They did play for heights. They played for all that information. They weren't actually able to get up with their pathing to purple armors. So they're not going to have all the perks available. So this is going to have to be brute forcing it from them. And Kurev is going to have to portal back here and think about the next move.
Oh, RRQ there and waiting maybe. Strafing Flame certainly saw the Void Nexus, but they are not in a position and they actually disappear themselves. NIP do have an evac tower to work with if they'd like to go up into the sky, because they do not have a Valkyrie, of course.
That's Pro just having a little swing behind here to see if they can be a frustrating force to deal with. Great shots coming in from the flat line. Prest is still showing that thing can kick. As now they're trying to ping where the next play is. They're trying to put that little corner inside a Galleria. Now Neo, Ninjas in Pajamas. This fight is taking place and Vayne is not looking healthy. Gets the med kit off. But he's going to need the help from his teammates here. The worry here for both teams is that RRQ are looking at this as third party. So Neo, if they want to take this fight and Ninjas in Pajamas get taken down, there might be a third party. But this might be clean enough for them to actually reset. But no, Vayne makes this difficult now. To 1v2. But where are RRQ? Did they want to try and force this? They are safe in zone. It looks like Ninjas in Pajamas are going to get a reset here.
I don't think NIP wanted to take this fight at all. And Neo, they kind of forced it, got aggressive, and NIP make them pay, as Neo are going to be down to just a 2 as well. So neither team either able to benefit from that. RRQ have actually focused a little bit more towards Neo.
Look at this from Vayne. Patience waiting for Cole to join alongside him, and then all of a sudden they can come behind, but no! Ninjas in Pajamas are eliminated. Neo were eliminated a few seconds ago. VP gets sandwiched. And it's Shopify Rebellion who come out the victors here, but now they've got to deal with Relove DCG. They're below them now inside of Galleria.
And it's not quite a straight 3v3 because RRQ are close enough they could get involved if they would want to. They are certainly hovering at the moment, just waiting. But if it takes too long, if there isn't enough gunfire, I'm sure RRQ would just start to think about zone a little bit more. They might just meet at the choke point past Galleria, which is going to get quite ugly because on the other side of it, you've also got VK Gaming and For Fun that are currently taking a 3v3 battle against each other as well.
Here it is. QQ has got Lestar in his hands. Skynades are going to hurt though. Has to back up to his teammates, thinking about hitting the Void Nexus to get out of there, and that's exactly what they're going to do. The problem is, on the other side of that Void Nexus, there's a team waiting. GK Esports has just been eliminated. They were in the prime spot in zone, and this is what I was worried about for VKG. Shopify were sitting on that portal waiting for that opportunity. That is free for SR.
One member of VKG did escape into zone. But at the moment, the one team who is actually in center zone is TIE again this time. Can they hold on to it? Remember in game 1, they weren't able to hold on to it. They got pushed and lost that engagement. Shopify Rebellion starting to move with a little bit more confidence now. It's For Fun that could be their next targets.
They got a pinch here down this low ground. Even though the drill's coming in, Phony is so healthy. The gen is a problem though, so those nades aren't going to be able to flush them out. And with the zone closing in 40 seconds, Shopify, if they win this, might have a walk-in. For Fun though, hidden for now, but they could hit a Void Nexus through if they want to get aggressive, but instead Zainu's made the play call to play this corner where they will be safe.
Dinos get eliminated as Zipline Mafia are able to win out on that one, but they're a little bit worried about TIE below them as now Shopify Rebellion will push in onto For Fun, and they've been able to get a couple of knocks.
Oh, the difficulty here is there's a lot of teams surrounding them. Zap getting shot in the back, getting shot in the side. And Zainu now left on his own. For Fun down to just one. It's a 1v1 between the two. But I don't know if there's time, really, for either to survive. Excuse me, Synetic did get away, so it's a 1v2. Shopify Rebellion can't make that happen. And now Synetic, only a couple of health points to play with, manages to scarper away.
Yeah, DCG will rip this away from them, and it's incredible patience, really, from DCG. They've been dominating since that early fight in Galleria, biding their time and waiting to just pick apart teams who have already taken damage, as JDG will also go down. And now the entire eastern side is covered by RRQ. TIE are starting to move out a little bit. As we check in with PXX, they are in a little bit of trouble. Both TIE and Aurora and Enter FORCE.36 are all looking towards them, and this is what happens when 3 teams start to focus you.
Yeah, you can Maggie drill this corner, but it's just going to delay the inevitable here for PXX. XZZ, it might be ZZZ, as he's going to sleep in a few seconds' time. He is gone. PXX are eliminated, 6 squads remaining. JDG being eliminated a few moments ago, though, continuing the momentum, a decent placement for them after game number 1 and 2. VK Gaming will be next out of the lobby. And who is standing tall here inside of the top 5? It's Aurora.
And boy, do they need it. They need something to give them a little bit of a confidence booster here. They're up into 9th place as they stand right now. And they do have kills alongside the placements they've already found in this game. It's the first time they've really been awake here in this series. Can we see the incredible IGLing skills and history from Hayaka? He's been able to put them in a good position at the moment, but Enter FORCE.36 are certainly going to be a concern.
Well, Relove DCG are trying to move somewhere where they will be safe. They still aren't safe, and they've lost 2 on the cross. So Roy into the top 5. He's going to try and start a barbecue, but he finds out that he's the meat on the grill. Takes down 1, but RRQ will wipe them. Aurora now move up onto the bridge position. They will be safe. They've got some fences down. They've got a gen down as well, which is going to help them against those Maggies in the lobby.
I think actually TIE hold the most space at the moment on the eastern side. The trouble is this is all about elevation. There are so many different points you can hold here on the bridges that are above. And with the amount of altars still left, there's always that potential you can void passage through and get involved in a fight. RRQ down to a 2, do have a Wraith to work with though. And then 4 Watsons.
They did lose Pricey. I wonder if they're going to be able to go for a box res here, or if it's going to be too deep in zone for them to do so. E36, by the way, showing exactly what we were talking about earlier, how a spot becomes playable late game that isn't playable early game. They are playing almost the exact same position we saw the Baby Comp struggling to survive here, and they're making it work.
I think RRQ did go back into zone to get that banner. Question is, do they have a mobile respawn beacon? I think we're going to find out very quickly to see whether they're going to get a third back on the map. Otherwise, they're going to have to try and do this as a 2. Looks like right now it is just a duo situation for RRQ, and they are being heavily focused on the height. Aurora up there are making their life very difficult.
Easy Flash taking damage as its effect down to 1 HP. Strafing Flame trying to thread the needle with this RE45 as E36 are going to be very happy to see that TIE are helping them out with Aurora, their biggest threat that's above them. Effect is down and he is dead.
Good work again from TIE though. They push up, they get aggressive, and they've already removed 1. Aurora now look like they're going to struggle with this one. It's just down to a rain.
But you see E36 take the opportunity now to void passage up using the alter cues. Hold on. To get involved in this fight, and that forces TIE back. RRQ now watching all of this and thinking, this is our chance to strike.
Suddenly this is a 2 versus 2 versus 1. There is not one full team right now.
Back to the low ground, E36 should be able to get a reset. RRQ, the baseball bat to the back of the head is gonna hurt. That's TIE gone.
Aurora trying to get a full res as well, dropping down to Moby, seeing if maybe Effect can get back into the map, but E36 and RRQ perhaps are not going to allow this. It's E36 who have the most in terms of players up here.
RRQ are playing for second. They get second, and now it's a 2v3. E36 versus RRQ. Shield swap maybe for Strafing Flame, he gets it. It becomes interesting, but Strafing Flame takes damage. See that now, look at a peek with that R9. It's all about timing the swing here for E36. 1 player remaining, easy flash, dealt with. E36 will win here.